Creamers. It's me, Hot Joe, and I'm joined with my co-host, Sammy Daddy. Take your time, man.
People keep talking. They can say what they like. But all I know is everything's gonna be all right.
And we're going to talk to Turkey, like Ted Turner, about some professional wrestling.
Who wouldn't you rather be Paris Hilton?
We're going to talk about birds. Do they exist? More on that later. We're going to do the John Cena quote of the week. What's our match count for 2025, the year of our lives? And we're going to leave a little room for cream. All that on this episode of Wrestle.
Not on the screen.
Welcome back, Creamers. Sammy Daddy, did you watch any wrestling this week?
Boy, did I. I watched the usual
NXT.
SmackDown, NXT, Raw, and I did a little Dynamite. Back in it. We got a pay-per-view coming up or something, probably.
Oh, yeah, they do. There always is one of those, you know?
May 25th. The same date as the first Double or Nothing.
Is it?
5 years ago.
How do you remember that so well?
I was there.
Why is that?
And my anniversary is the day before. So I remember that a Double or Nothing happened on the 25th, so that means my anniversary is on the 24th. That's why I remember, because I was there. I would have bought a shirt that said I was there, but they didn't have any.
What they do it all the time
I don't know
now.
if they had a merch stand.
Wow, man. I guess it would be.
I'd have to think about
just
it.
AEW shirts.
Yeah, but all those guys had the pro wrestling tees thing.
That's true.
So I don't know. But yeah, I watched some wrestling. It was... My match of the week, I think, is top tier, but I felt like the rest of it was a fine week, nothing crazy.
If we would have done the show earlier this week, my match of the week would have been from last week.
My match of the week is from last week.
Okay, then minus 2.
Well, you can have whatever match you want. It's not the same as mine, I know it.
Well, mine won't be it was over a week ago, so I can't do it.
It doesn't matter. It could be from 10 years ago.
No.
Oh, you didn't watch any wrestling from 10 years ago?
Well, I mean, no, not really, no.
That's the chair.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a fine week of wrestling. I'm getting back into it. That little WrestleMania hangover I got going on type of deal, you know?
I heard that.
So, but it's good. What?
Nothing.
Oh.
There's like a weird thing going on in my body.
I mean, for God's sakes, I came!
All right, you say so. But yeah, so nothing.
Beautiful boy.
I feel like we talked a lot of wrestling last time we were together.
Oh, yeah.
I did, really.
Yeah, I was like talking about other stuff.
Well, it was a WrestleMania-centric episode.
That's true.
So I was
And you were
filling
stoked.
You, in.
You
I
loved
love it, man.
You
I love
loved it.
WrestleMania. Can't
You're a
wait
big
till the
WrestleMania
next-
mark.
When's the next one? Let's talk about it.
Well, I don't even know. They don't really know.
Wouldn't that be fun if they just...
Yeah, did a pop-up show?
Hey, by the way, WrestleMania is Saturday.
Yeah.
What about you?
Dude,
though?
you hear that some people had to pay like 6 figures for some of those tickets?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought I saw something about SummerSlam's 2 nights in MetLife Stadium. They say New York, but it's in New Jersey,
Yeah.
which I never really understood.
Because they don't want to be gross.
Because they're like, hey, it's
Yeah.
New York. Oh, wow, New York.
Yeah.
Oh, really, actually.
Concrete jungle. Where drinks are.
It's like $40,000 for the front row.
That's so fucking
I
crazy.
don't understand what they're doing, man.
I don't either. I
mean, they're making money. They're
Yeah.
selling out.
Yeah.
So I guess, whatever.
I was watching Stevie Richards talk about the AAA thing, you know.
Yeah.
And he was...
Acquisition.
Yeah, and he was saying how like he thinks that WWE is buying all these assets and that they'll probably buy TNA as well, and with the purpose of selling it to Saudi Arabia.
Really?
Yeah. But that's Stevie Richards. What does he know?
Nothing.
Nah, he's all right. I like Stevie.
Oh, he's cool. I always enjoyed him. He was never like my favorite, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I always thought he was cool.
Yeah, I always thought it was cool.
He was an ECW guy, so he was hardcore to me.
Yeah, he wore belly shirts.
So they're gonna buy it and sell it to Saudi Arabia.
Sell WWE and all and everything.
Oh,
that comes with it.
everything.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they just buy it themselves? They got. Like,
I don't know, man.
Money.
I don't know. This is just what that little guy says.
I don't think he has any sources.
No, it's just what he thinks.
That's just his gut.
Yeah. Dr. Stevie. You're not that.
Is he really a doctor?
I don't know, man. But he played a doctor in TNA named Dr. Stevie.
John Cena was a doctor.
That is true.
Yeah.
He got his doctorate.
Kane was a doctor.
True. If you
Britt
can,
Baker is a doctor.
that is true. When I did backyard wrestling as a hot teen boy,
Yeah.
I had a character. I went to like Cedar Point,
Okay.
They had like when you could buy fucking souvenirs. One of them was a fucking silver luchador mask for some
That's
fucking
cool.
reason. So I bought it.
Why not? Did
Yeah.
it say like Cedar Point or something? Mm-hmm. It did?
No, it didn't say anything on it. That's what was weird.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't
Just-
branded at
they
all.
just had
It was just
some?
some random lucha mask. Yeah, and so then, like, whenever we needed like a jobber character, it would be him,
Mm-hmm.
and his name was the Silver Bullet. And then we had a red one, and that was Red Baron.
Okay.
And the Silver Bullet then became Dr. Sylvie because it was like ripping off of Dr. Stevie.
Okay.
And
I like
the
it.
only
I'll take
reason
it.
is because somebody gave me scrubs, and I was like,
So
I want to wear these
you
when I
did the
wrestle.
scrubs and the
Yeah, and then a
mask.
Silver Rooster mask. Yeah.
I always wondered who Dr. Sylvie was. I didn't know.
Yeah, it was me under there.
This whole time.
Yeah. It was
Wow.
Is that Sammy, Daddy?
No, it was not.
friend.
Hi, Joe.
There we go.
Hi, Joe.
I'm telling you, in like 3 years, we're not even gonna have to talk. We're just gonna have this stuff going on. Where we
can talk in different voices or sound bites. We can't do the sounds like this, right?
the sounds don't work that way. That'd be cool. Thanks.
That would be cool. So, is there any wrestling that you like the best? Oh, we'll talk about that.
No,
later. We'll talk about that later.
Like, I think most of it was, there wasn't anything bad this week. They still have the NXT girls on Raw, which I'm enjoying. You know how much
Good.
I like them.
Yeah.
Stephanie Vakir was back on.
Neat.
So it seems like, I don't know what the deal is. She's still sticking around on Raw, which is cool. But there was one match head and shoulders above the rest from last week.
And
Almost a week ago.
But that's your match of the week, huh?
That'll be my match of the week, so I'm going to save it. And I'm at a very, my match count, without saying it, we reached a milestone. That's all I'll say.
So did I. Well, that's good, dude. That means we're probably fucking like really close to each other.
I wanted to get in another, get back into those old TNA pay-per-views, and get another one or two of those under my belt, but it's not all terrible,
Yeah.
but a lot of it's bad, and it is.
It takes a long, but once it gets good, it's really good.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to go through. Like, I'm at maybe I'm 2 weeks. I'm a week or two removed from, R-Truth. What's it? Killings, Ron Killings, Ron the Truth Killings.
Coolest name of all time.
Winning the belt.
Yeah.
So like that's really cool, and like his character, it's actually, unless like I'm just reading too much into it, his character's like a deep character because I feel like he's supposed to be a bad guy, but he's talking about how he's been mistreated in his career and he finally got a shot. So I'm like, wait, is he a good guy? Because he's been a bad guy. Like his actions have been not great.
Yeah.
And the way he talks to people is kind of rude. But then like when he came out, he just did this promo on his own, I think. Or at least most of it. The last one I saw. And he's like, yeah, I was mistreated and I was told I can't do this or that don't make any mistakes. And like, so it's just like, it's kind
Interesting.
of like a complex character. It's
Yeah.
very interesting. And then like Jeff Jarrett comes on. He's like, slap nuts, I'm taking that belt. And I do like Jeff Jarrett, but
He's
like
great.
it's just, like,
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett is,
A good heel, but
he's a wrestling character.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Not generic, but a stereotypical.
yeah, I get what you're saying.
wrestling
Right. He's what
character.
you
And,
think
like,
of. Yeah.
R-Truth or Ron Killings, whatever, is like a layer, like a layered
Yeah,
character.
for sure.
No.
Yeah, I watched Dynamite from last week, and I watched Collision, and then I watched Dynamite from this week. Collision, I reached a milestone.
On Collision, I reached a milestone on this week's Dynamite.
I did not want to
So that
reach
means
it
you're ahead of me.
on Collision because
It's always like
it was not
this one isn't bad.
mine wasn't a good match to have it. Like the other ones were good. But the thing is I started not counting it while I'm watching it and then just going on Cage
Keep
Match.
Yeah, that's what I just watch.
Yeah.
I just check them after.
Right, and then so because I did that, I was like, oh shit.
I know Monday Night Raw is going to be like friggin' 3 matches.
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever. I still am entertained by it, but I know it's not going to help the match count. But it's not a competition.
No.
It's just for fun. It's just to kind of, it was something you started that you were nice enough to let me join in on. And
Well, I went in. I'm a nice guy.
we're gonna peel back the curtain a little bit. It's May 1st. So it is kind of cool to say, all right, it's the start of the 5th month of the year. I've watched this much wrestling.
That's true.
Like, I've never done that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And I don't know if I feel like my number would be higher or lower, like guessing without ever doing it before. Like you did it last year, so you kind of have something to go
Yeah.
off of.
But last year I started off
But you
hot.
did Wrestle Kingdom
Yeah.
every day for a year, or every year for a day. I don't remember.
I guess that's an accurate way to say it. But I've been thinking about how, like, I love New Japan and I enjoy having this streaming service, but I think I may cancel my subscription and then subscribe to CMLL. Just because,
get rid of it for a little bit.
Because I'm like, I want to watch Lucha Libre.
Do they still have like how New Japan you can watch old shows and stuff? Is that how CMLL?
It's all on It's all on their YouTube channel, so I guess you could.
Well, I'm just saying, if you have
Yeah.
access to the old
Yeah.
stuff you haven't seen, then it'd be worth it to switch it.
Yeah, but it's also like I don't really know what I'm looking at because it's all in Spanish and there's no English commentary, so I don't know what I'm like. Starting it off, like if I started off on this tomorrow, because Fridays are a big show of the week for them.
Oh, of course.
I wouldn't really be like
Lunes?
I wouldn't be confused, or if I watched the last few episodes, I wouldn't have more context because I don't know anything going
I
on.
don't know what they're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna fuck you up with some knowledge here. You ready?
Beautiful boy.
So I'm a big
Beautiful boy.
that, and also I'm a big believer that birds aren't real.
Oh.
I know I've talked to you about it. I don't know your feelings on it. It's a controversial subject. So if you want
Yeah,
to
it is.
plead the fifth kind of deal on it, I
Yeah.
understand.
I might have to get the censor button ready.
But today,
I should have looked before I hit buttons.
yeah, don't worry about it. Today you're gonna play along at least, let's say.
Okie dokie.
And we're going to go with that birds aren't real. But I'm going to give you a little history. I don't know if you know the history of it. I know you know my feelings of birds not being real, but I don't know if you know how we got to this point.
I think Kennedy was president.
Yeah, a little bit before him.
Oh, it's before
like when
Kennedy.
it first started.
Oh shit. Well, I know that the idea of it is that that all the birds that we see right now aren't real.
Pretty much.
They're dead, and that they're just drones
Yeah, they're robots.
that are watching us for the government.
Robotic drones, spy surveillance, flying machines. Well, here, let me give you this just to give you the quick backstory. You ready?
Give me the skinny. I call it.
So, from 1959 to 1971, the United States government, primarily led by the CIA, led a covert operation that eliminated over 12 billion birds in the United States. Yeah. Using B-52 bombers equipped with virus-filled water tanks.
I hate when they do that, man.
I know. So they using those B-52 bombers with the virus-filled water tanks, they dispersed an advanced form of leprosy that not only affected and spread exclusively to birds, but also disintegrated their remains, leaving no trace of their heinous actions. Heinous actions.
Yeah.
For every bird extinguished by the government, a robot bird was put in its place. As of today, roughly 95% of the birds in the U.S. are spy drones.
That's fucked up.
So that it can best be summed up with the catchphrases of if it flies, it spies, and bird watching goes both ways. So that's just the real quick crash course to catch you up to what I believe.
My main takeaway is that the B-52s, when they're, talking about fun things like
Yeah.
you,
Love Shack.
like the Love Shack or like the Rock Lobster,
Lobsters,
that's when I like them. But when they're killing all the birds and
Yeah,
all that,
so
that's where I got to draw the line.
it's not them.
Okay.
But
Oh,
you
really?
have the right. Yeah, it wasn't them. It was.
That's a load off my mind.
This was the fighting airplane things,
Okay.
jets that were named after the band.
Oh, that I would definitely name things after that band.
I don't know who was in charge of naming those things, but big 52s fan.
Which who isn't?
Well, yeah, good point. So it could have been anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kennedy did actually. Some people think that Kennedy's assassination had a lot to do with him finding out about this.
That makes sense.
Because he didn't know about it. He found out about it.
Dang, dude.
And he wanted to put an end to it. He was not a fan.
DF and John F. Kennedy, you know what it stands for?
Fake birds. Is that what you're going to say?
I was going to say fuck birds.
Oh, okay.
But that's even.
But he liked
that
the
makes
birds.
more sense.
He liked the birds.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He was trying to get him to stop.
Flying.
Flying spy drones.
John Flying Kennedy.
Is that what it was? Really?
No.
Oh. So.
Felix.
Is it?
Yep.
John Felix Kennedy?
Yeah.
It's a cool
Look
name.
it up.
So, just to give you some examples.
Okay.
Pigeons. You know pigeons?
I've seen those guys.
No, you don't. They're for city surveillance.
Oh my gosh.
Vultures. You know those?
Yeah, man.
Public sanitation. So I guess technically it's not all spying, but they all have the capability to spy, but they have certain jobs. I'm just going to roll through these real quick.
Hell yeah, man.
Bluebirds, retina scanners. Owl, night surveillance.
You know what's funny about bluebirds? Much like blue balls, they don't exist.
There you go. See, you're learning. I think you'll be on my side by the end of this.
We'll see about that.
And so will all the creamers. Hummingbird
Wait.
are
Yeah, I can't.
attack drones.
No.
Yeah, because of their ability, they can get into small spaces.
That hurts to know.
It would hurt if you meet a hummingbird.
Yeah, I guess I would.
Seagulls, coastal surveillance. Makes sense.
Right. We got to watch out for Russia.
Geese, recreational surveillance.
That's funny.
Hawks. I didn't really know what this meant, but it says regional alpha. So maybe they kind of report to it. They're kind of they're kind of overseeing the overseers.
They're like lieutenants.
Yeah, they report back, or they're making sure the birds aren't malfunctioning. Sparrows, just general surveillance.
Oh,
They're everywhere, man.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. Ravens, stealth attack drones. Parrots, linguistics analyst. Makes sense.
Yeah, that's them for sure.
And flamingos are aquatic sentries.
Wow.
So there you go. So that's some real life examples of what birds are, actually. So that's why you see, and some people are probably laughing at us right now, like, well, of course birds are real. What are you talking about? Why do you think they sit on power lines?
To charge.
Recharge.
That makes sense.
You know what bird poop is? It's for tracking purposes. It's a liquefied tracking agent. That's why. Where do you see bird poop? Cars.
Yeah, that's right. It's always on my car.
That has a lot to do with why the government wanted to get rid of them. There was a lot of. It was the late 40s, early 50s when they started planning this. Mm-hmm. And America was in a good spot financially and safety-wise and stuff. So people...
Because we taxed the rich.
So people were
90%.
happy in the 50s?
Yeah, in the 50s and 60s, all the way up to until Ronald Reagan was president.
He was president?
Sadly, yes.
An actor?
Yeah.
You're shitting me.
That piece of shit.
I had no idea.
That piece of...
I love his movies. So since people were in a good mood, when you're in a good mood, you kind of pay it forward.
Yeah.
So birds were getting fed more. I got some extra bread. Let me throw some to these birds. They were pooping more then, and the government officials having to poop all over their cars. So it was pardon the pun, maybe a little too soon, but killing two birds with one stone kind of thing.
Okay.
They were able to get their surveillance during the Red Scare of the Cold War.
I remember that.
And also get rid of the pooping.
Wow.
So if you have bird poop on your car, you're being watched.
Oh, no.
Nothing to be paranoid or weird about, but you're probably on a watch list and they're keeping eyes on you.
That's a lot of people because everybody gets it.
They watch everybody. How many birds?
Now, I'd love if you told the creamers at home, how does this pertain to wrestling?
Well, we're going to look at some birds in wrestling. Some people named after birds, some actual birds, some in between, whatever you want to call it.
I guess there are actual birds, aren't there?
And I think you and I should try to figure out, because any of these birds that I know of were after the real birds were taken out and these fake birds were put in their place. So I'm curious what you think I have a couple written down here. I want to know what you think is their purpose. Why were they part of wrestling when they were part of wrestling? What were they doing?
Okay.
So I think the most famous
I like that.
bird in wrestling is Coco Beware's parrot, Frankie.
Uh-huh.
So I'll throw in my 2 cents as needed, but what do you think Frankie was doing there? Frankie the parrot, McCall.
You know what?
I believe.
I think Frankie was there because the government wanted to know if the state boxing committees still needed to regulate professional wrestling.
Oh, they were trying to find out if it was real or not?
Exactly.
I was thinking maybe something with, because that would have been 80s,
Yeah.
right? Late 80s, early 90s. I'm thinking steroid trial.
Oh, wow, dude. That makes sense.
They're trying to catch something because he's gonna
Got to read between the lines.
He's got to have that bird walking around somewhere. He's picking up the language. Mm-hmm. Maybe, or maybe it's so they could learn that Carney speak.
Oh yeah.
What are these guys talking about? It's a different language. We
Right,
don't know it.
right.
And they said parrots are linguistic analysts.
Fucking, you're right. Dang,
So-
that's perf.
So this next one is actually, there's 2 examples of a vulture, unnamed, as far as I know. But I know you recently watched that WrestleMania 9 documentary we talked about, I think, last week.
Yep.
So there was the vulture that was part of Undertaker's entrance. And there
yeah,
was
that's right.
also a iconic image I always think of is of Sting in the rafters in WCW with the NWO in the ring with the vulture. And I believe it went down to the ring.
He had a vulture?
It was a vulture.
Why wouldn't he have a crow?
You can't control a crow.
Oh yeah, that's right. They have this. They're haunted by a witch. There's a soul of a witch in there.
Well, it's a robot.
I guess it's a robot. Oh my god, I'm all topsy turvy.
Well, but please don't be fooled, because some people are going to say, well, what about, I've seen a bird, a dead bird, or maybe one that was hit in the street.
I was thinking that myself.
Robot doesn't mean, you're thinking like Terminator robot.
Right.
But you're not. Because what's on the outside of the Terminator? Skin, flesh, blood. Remember he cuts his arm off, or he cuts into his arm or his face or whatever? There can be organic machinery.
It's kind of
that's what we're dealing with.
It's like Blade Runner. That's what they've. It's like they're fucking replicants.
I mean, think of how tiny a bird is. Just a little bit of it needs to. You need 2 little cameras and something to run it.
If you get go to the fucking Joanne Fabrics, they're out of business. But you could get a bunch of supplies and you could just make a bird at home.
Yeah, you could.
You
if
can make
you
your
have
own
the right
bird.
stuff, you can make your own
think
fake
about
bird
it.
at home. Go ahead, try it. Send it this way.
That's what we should do on the show next week.
Make a bird. Yeah. We can make fake birds.
Okay.
But so. Whoa, no, that's not ominous at all.
Whoa, dude.
Inappropriate.
They're fucking trying to
Was that
warn
a
us.
seagull?
I think it was.
That's that's surveillance.
Dang, dude, they're fucking warning
That's
us.
weird. That was not from the soundboard. If you can. hear
No,
that.
dude, that's wild.
But
We're in danger, Sammy Daddy.
I know it. I can hear them. So we had some vultures. So I believe they're the list from my resources.
Oh well, okay. So what we have to figure
What
out?
do you think the vultures were doing? And they have them as public sanitation.
Okay.
But I mean, it could be used for anything. They're very versatile.
Yeah.
But
Okay. I think that a lot of the times, well, maybe once, but still,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this anyways.
Hit it.
The WCW fans
Filthy.
famously threw garbage
Oh.
at Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan go to hell.
Or when there's that cool video or whatever you want to call it, where the fan throws the beer at Scott Hall.
Yeah.
Just no sells it and does his hair.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those WCW. Okay, so they were there to kind of clean that up. I was thinking to hit the other one, the Undertaker WrestleMania 9. That was out. Like I said, we watched a documentary. That was outside.
Yeah.
In Vegas. You can't just have trash rolling around the streets in a parking lot. I
No,
believe.
they already have trash rolling around on the fucking strip.
Oh, you're telling me. I love it.
Uh-huh.
So I think we can agree they were there in both situations for different reasons, but to keep it clean.
Yeah, man.
All right, good. I'm glad that we're on the same page. So I think you're believing.
I'll wait till the end to determine
All
that.
right, no, that's fair. That's fair. Next one. I know I said Frankie was the most famous. This might be the first one that came to a lot of people's mind when we said we're going to talk about birds in wrestling. Or I titled my list, Birds Aren't Wrestling. Yeah, get it? Sorry, didn't mean to do that to you. Gobbledygooker.
Yeah, duh.
Obviously a fake bird.
Well, what are turkeys? Does it even say?
I didn't have an official. Usually, from what I believe I saw, your turkeys, chickens, ostriches. I guess turkeys can fly, huh? But your birds that aren't flying.
Yeah, big birds.
Yeah. They're more ground surveillance.
Okay.
Or for more. A turkey's pretty big, so there's probably a little bit of combat in there too. So
Makes
I don't
sense.
know why what do you think? Why was
I don't know.
the Gooker? What was his function? What was he there to do?
I don't think I know, man. I don't.
I can't. I know that's like the whole point of this episode. I don't really have an answer for that one. Because it's hard.
I'd love to ask Greg, but I don't think he'd have to think about it, and then we would just waste a phone call.
Yeah. Well, it's like, as you guys know, every week it's like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and we only get one. So we don't want to waste it.
I was literally thinking that exact same thing.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah, and I was making it sound like we only have one phone call.
We only do once a week.
Yeah,
I guess you could say prison rules, but whatever.
that's true. As long as you have the money for it.
Yeah, so I don't know. Gobbledygooker, definitely a fake turkey.
Word.
Maybe he was there to kind of, how back in the day, they'll say, wrestling was a work, but your champion still had to be a shooter.
Yes.
He's got to shoot. Your champion's got to shoot.
Thank you.
Shoot. Fucking shoot.
So maybe the gobbledygooker with its, I don't say it right, gobbledy.
Yeah.
Gobbledy.
I think everybody says it the wrong way.
Gobbledy.
Yeah.
Obladi. Oblada. Gobbledy. Oh my God.
I'm blue. If I was green, I would die.
Is that the same thing? I was doing the Beatles. You're doing Eiffel 25.
Those are-
Eiffel 65.
those are-
Eiffel 45.
Those are the same song.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know the Beatles were a part of Eiffel Towers, and
What is it? Eiffel 65?
I don't know.
45,
I don't know.
Eiffel 25.
I don't know actually.
1918.
That's when that song came out.
I don't remember. It should have. So. Your old champions had to be real tough guys that could wrestle.
Yes.
I think they put the Gooker in there to rein in some of those guys because that was a wild time in wrestling. They were doing drugs, drinking, out of control. You hear stories about their road trips and they're jumping out of cars and doing all of the crazy stuff.
Oh yeah, man. Undertaker had to carry a knife.
I'm gonna have to do a little research, but that also might have been around when Iron Sheik and Jim Duggan got pulled over and everybody got mad at them because it was a good guy and a bad guy hanging out.
Ah, yeah. Maybe
So
they
he
were
was there to put
investigating
him in
that.
line.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. So again, the rampant drug use.
Goddamn drugs and their wrestling.
Well, here's one a little bit later that I honestly kind of forgot about, but this is more recent, later than the ones we were just talking about, though. Jack Swagger, you remember him? Jake Hager, Jake Strong. You remember him at all?
Of course, but I'm trying to.
He was Jack Swagger. So he had a giant mascot called Swagger's Soaring Eagle that I believe wrestled a little bit as well.
Okay. We'll see. And
I
then
think he met his end against Hornswoggle.
really,
I think it was I just watched the clip. I think Rosa Mendez made Hornswoggle a turkey, but burnt it, and he was really upset. And then he saw the eagle walking around and got real Tom and Jerry with that knife and fork.
okay.
And then he tried to eat the eagle in a wrestling match.
Sounds like him, dude.
I don't know, but so it's a giant eagle, big predatory bird.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
I mean, it probably would be top of the line spy surveillance drone because it is the national bird.
You're telling me.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
The symbol of our nation.
Yeah, it's our nation's bird.
And every state has a bird. Think about that.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Ohio's.
Cardinal.
Yeah.
I think a bunch of them are cardinal.
Really?
I think Arizona's cardinal, but that's also a football team. So I might just be thinking that.
Yeah, baseball. Isn't there a baseball team called
St.
the Cardinals?
Louis.
St. Louis Cardinals. That's where.
Backlash.
Yeah.
WrestleMania Backlash is going to be.
Wow, it's a full circle.
Wow. Well, what do you think Jack Swagger's eagle was there for?
That's surveillance. Is that what it is?
I don't have an official category for eagles. I feel like that's your final boss
Yeah.
bird.
Okay.
Because they're big, they're mean, they have really cool Big Bear. Is that a national park?
I'm Big Bear
Am I
National
asking the
Park.
wrong person?
No, I mean I've gone to a lot of national parks.
Big Bear
around the
National
country.
Park or something like that?
I don't know if I've ever heard of that one.
Well, they have a really cool live feed on their YouTube channel that is on a eagle's nest.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's
That
really
is cool.
fun.
Okay, so then maybe
So that's surveilling. I never even thought.
maybe
about
the
that.
government
Yeah.
knew about the stuff Vince McMahon was up to.
Oh, so this was them trying. They said we got to send in the big dog.
They sent-
so they sent a big,
You want to take out the boss, you got to send the boss.
and that would be an eagle.
Yeah. What do you think?
Sounds good to me. That would have been around the time that was going on, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that
think
was,
so.
That was kind of like when on the downside of wrestling
Yeah.
and
For
WWE
sure.
for that time. So maybe they sent that eagle to see what the fuck is going on. What is happening? Why is SmackDown so boring?
Yeah, they were wondering about how come there's like that weird fucking blow dryer pop? You ever heard of that?
No.
But do you remember like when they had the canned pops on
Oh,
SmackDown?
and they would like, yeah.
Yeah, and people call it the
I
blow
never heard
dryer.
that.
Yeah.
That, like blow dryer? I never heard it called that.
Yeah.
I knew they had fake
Let's
ones.
see if we could like. I was
They
gonna.
would
I was
pipe
gonna.
in a lot of sound.
I was gonna put it in the show.
Well, it's funny because you would be watching SmackDown and see somebody, and it's not their fault, but seeing somebody get no reaction, but then the audio, if your eyes were closed, you would think they were the biggest star ever, but then if you're actually watching, you would see like 3 kids clapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to say the Eagles there because the government's thinking, what's he doing there?
I think so. Let's see if this is a. Okay, come on, hurry it up.
And Teddy Long said, no player. There's somebody that you haven't defeated, and that's The Undertaker.
Okay.
And now his hair's dry. If you've seen this, if you were looking at this video, you would see that he's got a dry head.
Who? Mr. Kennedy?
Yeah,
Is that who that was?
yeah,
That was pretty good, right?
yeah.
From Green Bay, Wisconsin. Oh, okay.
Mister.
So the Eagle, jury's out on that one. But
Okay,
I think
yeah.
we're in the right spot.
All right.
I
What's
got
next?
I got one I know you're gonna love. The Red Rooster.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the kind of bird he was a cock,
You're telling me.
a doodle doo. So I want to know what you think, but if you don't know, the Red Rooster was portrayed by Terry Taylor, and he ended up in a lot of. I think he bounced back and forth a little bit. WWF, WCW,
Yeah.
WWE.
Yeah.
Has he done TNA even?
I think he did work for TNA. I think he was like an agent.
So I think
something.
he's been in those roles. I think he's been in there as he's the guy giving the government information about what's going on. He's a stooge.
Wow.
So he was there stooging to the government, and then the government was sending that to dirt sheets to make money
My God.
because Meltzer pays for his information.
I can't believe it, dude.
And Brian Alvarez and Wade Keller, does he still do it? And Sean Rossap don't do that.
No, he don't do that.
But the other ones used to.
That's nuts, man.
So, like how the government would get the information, then sell it to them. And Terry Taylor was there inside.
Wow.
That's what I think.
You
I
know,
don't
once you
that-
start connecting the dots, you don't like the picture you see. You know, if you know what I mean.
That was good. I like that. I have to go back to see. So, if you remember, or do you think that? Do you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Bruce?
Oh,
okay. That was
for
an easy.
sure.
That's an easy one, right?
Yeah, that one is like yeah.
So Hawks, I said we're the ones that are the regional alphas, and I don't think anybody represents Hawks better than Hawk.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So they were regional. Think about it. Regional. What's other words? Territory.
Wow.
Territories. Who ran the territories as in the tag team? An animal and a hawk.
Well,
Just a big meaty hawk. Just going around. So I think regional alpha they were going around keeping people in check. Maybe not surveillance in the sense of like cameras, but surveillance in the sense of, all right, we're going to go down to the Florida territory and see what's going on. Then we're going to go to the Memphis territory and see what's going on. So kind of, would that be more recon than surveillance?
yeah, maybe.
And then, hey, the King's getting a little weird in Memphis. We got to send some other bird. Get the Terry Taylor down there.
Holy shit.
I'm not saying this is what's going on.
It's all connected. Yeah. We're just asking questions.
Yeah. All of this. Has
We're just saying do your own research.
Yeah. Just I always like that.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do your own research because I'm doing it for you right now.
Beautiful boy. Rude.
Is that Sammy Daddy?
Yeah, and I'm researching stuff. So I think that's what the deal with the Hawk is.
Damn, son. Where'd you find this?
What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Regional Alpha. I mean, they were the tag team of all tag teams
Yeah.
for 10 years.
They have a pop
15
named
years.
after them.
Yeah.
Like a hair conditioner.
I
Or
think
a
it's,
fucking dryer.
Dr. Pepper? Was that the one? So let me explain that one to you guys real quick. We're Cleveland.
That was his chair.
That was the chair. I wish that was a fart. So Cleveland, the city that we live in, and the surrounding areas, mostly Ohio. Maybe it bleeds a little bit into Pennsylvania, a little bit the other way. What's on the other side? Indiana,
No one knows.
Michigan. Yeah, we've never gone that way. What you idiots call soda or cola, we call pop. So that's why that joke was funny.
You heard it here first, folks.
Oh, speaking of big meaty
Soda.
hawks. Oh,
You see? Soda. It's a pop.
get it? You would say cream soda, but it's a type of pop here. So he's correct.
Yeah.
It took me a minute. I had to register it all, but yeah.
Your mind is on birds
You nailed
right
it.
now.
Yeah, and how fake they are. We can
right.
do an episode on pop. That might write that.
Yeah, I guess there is a fucking...
There's something there.
There's something there. And there's an audience for it. A lot of people like their carbonated drinks.
I do. You want another hawk?
You betcha.
Will Ospreay. An Ospreay. So I believe the bird is without the A,
Yeah.
but Osprey's a bird.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, hold on.
So we just talked about it. Regional Alpha. Where's he from?
He's from the UK.
So he wrestled there.
Yeah.
Where'd he make a pretty big name for himself?
Japan.
Where is he now?
America.
Those are regions. And wherever he goes, what does he do?
Wins.
That's alpha shit. Just saying.
That's crazy.
I don't know, and I know that's your guy, so I don't want.
He's my guy.
I don't want you to think I'm besmirching his name.
You didn't. You actually
but
were
doesn't
saying
that make sense?
it. True. I mean, he used to be my guy, but now that I know that he's just working for the Gallagher government,
Well, it's not his fault. He was made and programmed to do that.
that's true.
He's so crazy to believe that one of the greatest wrestlers ever is a robot that was made to do that.
When you put it out, when you say it like that, it sounds crazy to think otherwise.
Speaking of greatest wrestlers ever, Raven. He would be a Raven.
Oh my God.
I like Raven. We've talked about that.
Yeah, he's one of the
before.
greats.
Ravens.
Of ECW.
I see. And I'm sure I've said the exact same thing before, but I think of him as WCW.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's when I was introduced.
Yeah,
to him.
yeah. I mean, I was introduced to him in WWF.
He's a absolutely an ECW guy, and that's his legacy for the most part. But
Yeah.
the Flock and stuff, I loved it. I love Raven.
Oh yeah, man.
So they got Raven on here as stealth attack drones, like the bird that you see outside Raven.
Yeah.
But for the wrestler Raven, I don't know about the stealth part so much, but didn't he make the TNA match, Clockwork Orange match?
Oh yeah.
So that's attack.
Whoa.
The Flock, they would attack. I mean, he named his whole group
Fucking
the
right.
Flock.
Mm-hmm. You have that.
I don't think they had bird names, but that's not the point.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
He was the ringleader. They were sucked into that propaganda.
That's so Raven.
It's the future that he saw. You got to edit it so it goes into your eye.
Okay.
And then do the camera on you.
Yeah, make it easier.
Beautiful boy.
I felt obligated to. But yes,
I understand.
What do you think about Raven? Because I'm not. I believe what I'm saying, but I want to.
I can't disagree with it.
I feel like
There's no way to argue against
I
that.
put a big beautiful bow on those big beautiful hawks.
Yeah, you
I
did.
feel like I don't have a big beautiful bow on the Raven. We can always come back to it another day,
No, okay, but I think
unless you have something.
I don't. I think you're nailing it though with Raven. I can't even add to it, to be honest with you. I think you got it right. You got it right.
Well, good, because I said I was going to ask you what you think, and then every time I'm just like, this is what I think about this fake bird. You want more?
Yeah, I was gonna see if there's a button that says more, but I know there's not.
Go ahead, hit the green one. Nope, that's not more.
I love WWE.
I am the cream.
Because I'm gonna stretch his ass like it's never been stretched before.
Big deal, let's see. That's illegal.
Get out of the ring!
He clambered back to his old friends and decided to come.
All right.
None of those were more.
No, but we had the luck where we wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
I got two more for you.
Okay. Give them to me.
One of them, I don't know what to think. Did
Sammy,
did
if you
say
give it to me, I'll give it to you. You know what I want. You know I got it.
What? What do you want? I don't know.
Birds.
Oh. Well, I think I don't know if we talked about it on the show or if you and I just talked about it. You remember Riddle? He was in WWE. I think, is he MLW's champion?
I know he's in MLW, but I don't know.
He has a championship or something, I thought.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He may be their champion.
He would come out in his flip-flops when he was broing.
Yeah. And then he would,
And
that's
kick
right.
him off,
You did tell me that.
And then
yeah.
CGI doves would go everywhere.
Yeah.
So obviously, those are fake birds.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
they were CGI, but they had to represent something.
Okay, what kind of birds were they?
Doves.
Ooh, the beautiful pigeons.
So I feel like...
Beautiful boy.
Wait,
Beautiful.
pigeons.
You ever see a baby pigeon?
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, you're right. That's crazy, man.
I know. So I don't know what the CGI doves were meant to represent with Riddle.
Okay, well, what does a pigeon represent again?
Pigeons are city surveillance.
Okay, maybe they're like...
I feel like doves normally are associated with like peace or calm.
Maybe they're peacekeepers.
Maybe they're
like the riot police because they're not really peacekeepers.
but there's a lot of them too. I feel like you wouldn't. Well, wait. Normally aren't doves the ones you see two of?
That's two turtle doves.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I don't know. Maybe
3 French hens
and a partridge in a pear tree.
That's the one. 2 turtle doves, 3 French hens. Nobody sings it this way. 5 golden rings.
Beautiful boy.
6 beautiful boys. Yeah, so I don't know what the doves would be for. Like Shawn Michaels.
Who approved this
Move
angle?
the camera down. Better check out the YouTube for that.
Maybe the doves are there to take dead wrestlers' souls into the afterlife.
You think so?
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Like symbolically, because they were fake birds.
And they were just coming out of flip flops.
Yeah, I never understood that.
Adding
like I told you, they changed like different animals, which I also didn't understand.
No, it's
like
a very strange
stampede
thing. What does
draft.
Matt Riddle have to do with that stuff? Just make it weed smoke or something.
I'm gonna have to check out the social medias. I'm gonna try to get a compilation up of the different animals that came out of Matt Riddle's feet.
Okay.
I'm sorry, his name was Riddle. I never understood that either.
No.
I think Matt Riddle's a good name.
Yeah, it is.
Riddle is cheesy.
It's lame.
What is he? The Riddler?
Then there would be a lot more birds involved. Falcons, penguins, bats.
I guess penguins are probably like Arctic surveillance. So that's why they're so slow. Because
it's
like
cold.
they really don't need to see that much.
Yeah. But they're not wrestlers. We don't have to
And they're probably
analyze them.
scanning and going underneath. I am. It's too late. You did it. All right, we're done. All right, I got.
Dang, dude, you're
They
getting the
love
crowd
penguins. They love. Hey,
really horny.
We're not talking about penguins.
Man, they really love them.
So I got the one last one.
Okay, what's the last one?
It's up to you to tell me. I don't think we.
You want me to be the one that decides this one?
I know. I feel like I.
This one's for.
I feel like
Is
I
that,
stole.
is that Sammy Daddy?
Hi, Joe.
It is Hot Joe. You ready?
Yeah,
don't wanna get- I don't
does it start
wanna
with an
stop.
S?
Sting.
Oh my God. You can't-
Specifically.
Sting.
Not Surfer Sting.
No?
Not Joker Sting.
Really?
Crow Sting. Tell me that motherfucker wasn't on surveillance for a year.
Dang. What's the crow do?
I don't think we have a crow.
Oh,
We don't have an official crow
from the
list.
Okay.
I was trying to think
What's the raven? They're similar birds.
stealth attack drone.
I can see that for Sting.
he kinda-
How often does he fucking disguise himself? And then
As himself.
Yeah.
Which I really respect.
Yeah. Or he comes from this fucking ceiling. That's like a fucking stealth move for sure.
Yeah, because you wouldn't. What was he doing? What would he do to the NWO from the rafters? Surveil.
Snipe them. Oh, yeah.
He should have. It would have been a lot easier.
It would have been must-see TV.
That one time he sent Hulk Hogan his own head.
Oh, yeah,
That was dark.
I wish that was real.
That was cool.
But he wouldn't have been able to
do
open
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It wouldn't have been funny.
Take
Oh, that's the noise he made. Oh.
We'll find it, and that'll be the thing at the end. Whoa,
okay.
whoa. That sounded crazy.
What?
I don't know.
It's you. Hello? Are we still on? We're on? All right, thanks.
Yeah, we're live.
We're live. Do it live.
That was fun.
We're live, pal.
Sting. Yeah, I think that's Sting's.
No, I think you nailed it.
He's a fucking stealth boy.
I liked it.
Yeah.
And I think birds are fake,
Do you think there's any way we could get?
or birds aren't real.
Do you think there's any way we would ever be able to have birds back?
So, on that little thing I read at the beginning,
Yeah.
I did say 95% because while there are some other nations that have done similar things, I don't think they've done the extermination route that we love going to for some reason.
It's our favorite.
But they do have fake birds. I believe China actually, if you look it up,
Yeah.
China said they have like bird drones that they use.
Wow.
But the sky's a big place. You can't stop those birds from Mexico from coming in. You can't stop those birds from Canada coming in.
Dude.
You go up towards Alaska, Russia's birds can get over that.
Yeah.
They don't have to go in the water.
No, they don't.
So there are still real birds in the world. So there's hope. I think the problem isn't getting more real birds. The problem is getting rid of the fake ones.
Yeah, that's a good
And
sentiment.
then it'll kind of
Yeah.
just take care of itself at once the fake ones are gone, because the fake ones are getting rid of the real ones.
That's
lot of
fucked up,
time.
man. Those
So,
assholes.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, I like asking questions. I know you do too. So when I hear birds aren't real, boom, 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 I got like 10 questions.
You're making the connection.
And anything I've asked, I've got an answer for.
Yeah.
An answer that I could believe and also under independent research confirm that I believe it. So I hope I don't want to tell anybody what to think,
Of course.
but if you want to be right, you should agree with me.
Yeah. Just do your own research, okay? Creamus?
Yeah. What do you think? You think birds are fake? Birds aren't real? You don't have to go on record. We can do this off
I
the
think
record.
birds.
Yeah. He's moving his thumb up. Now he's moving his thumb down.
Aren't real, dude. Birds aren't real.
We bird people. We bird people. We bird people.
Perf. Sammy Daddy.
Yeah.
Beautiful boy.
Thanks.
What's the John Cena quote of the week?
I'd love to tell you. He's officially fighting Randy Orton at Backlash, in case you were worried.
Okay. That's a load on my face. Or I think I said that wrong.
No, you were right. You ready for this? Guess what, Creamer's got a picture this week and a long quote.
Oh, let's take the picture of the
You want it now?
Yeah. Sammy, if you give it to me, I'll take the picture. That's a cool. The pictures are always really fucking cool.
The John Cena quote of the week. You will be faced with many challenges today. Whenever possible, handle these challenges with logic, kindness, patience, and empathy. Some will dislike you. Others will disagree with you. Over time, if you are consistent in sticking to your values and beliefs, many will respect you.
Sammy Daddy, what's your match count for 2025, the year of our lives?
300.
Exactly?
I don't know how it worked, but yes. I did right before we started the show, I did the end of my math. So my 300th match was Hangman versus Fletcher in the Owen Hart Cup semifinal tournament match, which was good.
It was good.
I'm coming. I felt like I used to, and I know I'm on record on here. I felt like about Kyle Fletcher how I was saying I felt about like Mercedes, where I'm just like I just don't care.
Yeah.
I do. He's not like top of the list for me yet, but I definitely can appreciate him a lot more.
I think it was fair to not. So it was fair to feel that way back then.
I mean, it was, yeah. I get it, though. I get what they were going for and where we're at now, and it was all part of that. So I just don't understand.
They're doing a good job building him.
I don't know who's in Don Callis' family, and I forget. Because they're like, here comes Kyle Fletcher with Lance Archer. And I'm like, why?
I did forget that Lance Archer.
But Jake the Snake sold them.
Yeah, but Lance Archer was tag teaming with Brian Cage, and Cage is injured. Yeah.
And then Jake the Snake got...
But it was just like he was randomly standing there, and I was like, was he there the whole time?
They announced him coming out.
I didn't even notice that.
They did, because it caught my attention. Like, Lance Archer, why?
Yeah.
And then I remembered...
Because my brother was watching it with me.
Somebody sold
and he was,
something.
You know, he was like... when they showed the little match graphic, he was like, that wasn't Hangman? And I was like, yeah, it was, because he hasn't watched it since Hangman, before Hangman became a bad boy. Yeah. And I was like, oh, he's got new music too. Or actually, he's like, does he still have that cool music? And I was like, he has different cool music now, but it's, I think, cooler. My brother didn't agree, but that's because he's wrong on that.
Well, it's also the first time he heard it.
True.
You have to hear it.
That's true. The first time I heard it, I didn't like it.
The first time you hear every song, you know, like wrestling-wise.
Yeah, especially because Hangman's original theme was really great.
With the horses?
Yeah.
Horses don't stop.
Yeah. My match count for 2025 is 305 matches.
I knew we were going to be close.
Mm-hmm. My 300th match was, it had a Kyle in it as well.
Kyle O'Reilly.
Yes. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong versus FTR from Collision.
That's not terrible.
Well, I would have made it something cool. You know what I mean?
I tried to do that 3 times now, and I have failed every time.
I had my 200th match was Shingo Takagi versus
Ring
Shota.
of Honor, pure champion.
yeah. Versus Shota Umino from the New Japan Cups, 2025 semifinals.
My 200th match, I watched 100 matches ago. You ready for?
Yeah, right.
So here, you're not happy with who do we say?
FTR,
O'Reilly.
Yeah, FTR versus.
Yeah. My 200th match was for the NWA World Tag Team. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, another semifinal match, which is kind of strange. This one was a tag team one. It was the Rainbow Express beating Buff Bagwell and Gran Apollo. So don't feel so bad.
All right, I do feel. Actually, this was. I'm even wearing the FTR shirt for God's sakes. Came in one of those boxes.
Love it. I have an FTR some cool stickers with where it was more rainbowy, the bright colors.
Yeah, I like that.
I really like. I love those.
Yeah.
I like the outfit they turned on Edge with. I love that.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a cool outfit.
What was your 100th match? Because I'm gonna make you feel better again.
Keiji Muto versus Masahiro Chono from the 1991 G1 Climax Final.
Probably a good match, I would imagine.
It was good. It was good.
From the names,
Yeah.
and because I at least know the names.
You know Chono. He was in WCW.
And G1, you say final?
Yep.
Yeah, usually those are pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to know my 100th match?
Can I guess?
Go ahead. Do you remember?
No.
Oh.
Is the Miz in it?
Miz?
Yeah.
No.
Dang. I don't know. What was it?
George the Animal Steel and the Junkyard Dog beat Al
dude.
Navarro and Joe Mirto in 1 minute and 26 seconds.
That was 200 ago? That's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm planning out my next 99 matches. So number 400 is a real winner.
Hell yeah, man.
So let's see. Because you would have been a little bit ahead of me.
Yeah.
But the beginning of February is when I hit 100. The end of March is when I hit 200. And so it would have been the last day of April that I hit 300.
I didn't write down the dates for when I got those, so that would have been interesting to do.
Do you change it every time? I can't remember. You just update the number?
I update the number.
I put the date that we recorded and then the number.
No, that's really fucking organized. It looks nice. This is what I have.
It's in my Notes app. Shout out Notes app.
This is mine. So the top, it's the amount of matches, and then down there.
And then milestones.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's fine.
And then my match of the week.
I know what your match of the week is.
Shit. Dang, man. Well, then I go first. My match of the week was the Young Bucks versus Kevin Knight and Speedball from last week's Dynamite. But that's over a week ago, so my match of the week will be Kyle Fletcher versus Hangman.
The Jet, Kevin?
Yeah, what is
they
it?
call him? The Jet?
Something like that.
And then Speedball? Because they said they call him Jet Speed or something.
Of course.
I thought the Ball was better, but whatever. No, I told you, Kevin Knight.
Beautiful
ball.
Beautiful ball.
There we got it. Kevin Knight made a big impression on me on the pay-per-view. that where
versus
you saw
Osprey.
it? Yeah.
Versus our
That made me
bird boy.
think- yeah, that fake bird.
Don't get me started on that.
So what's
guy.
your match of the week? Which one? You wanted to change it or no?
Well, I'm just gonna.
My match is from Friday.
Okay, I'll keep it then.
I think you got to go with the one.
All right. It was over a week ago at this point, so I feel like if we did the show Tuesday, that would have been my match of the week. And I don't really think I liked any of the matches from this week's Dynamite or Collision better than that match. So
it was this.
Because
I don't know what Collision.
I think
was.
part of it was just like I'm a Young Bucks fan. I love these. I love them. I think the best tag team of all time for me. Yeah. And when everybody hates them now, and
the
like
JTTOAT.
Mm-hmm. You heard it here first.
Did I say J?
Yeah. But anyhow, everybody like hates them now and shit, and so like it's like everybody yucks my yum all the goddamn time, and then when they were like
Young Yucks,
that's what people think of them as.
Bung Yucks.
That's worse, and I'm not into it. But the crowd was like sort of feeling that same way about them. But then because they're just such a goddamn good tag team,
they're gonna win you over.
They won them over.
They know what to do,
and it was very good. It was really entertaining because
that.
they're the best. They're better than that one guy who got the main event WrestleMania this year. I'll tell you that.
There was 5 guys that got the main event WrestleMania. Travis Scott?
Yeah. Do you have any room for cream?
No, but I have a match of the week.
Let's get that out of the way. What's that?
I have the real greatest tag team of all time.
Hold on, can I guess who that is?
Yeah.
Is it a girl tag team?
A girl tag team? No, why? What girl tag team?
Wasn't there girl tag teams in SmackDown?
There's always girl tag teams. There's girl tag teams on all the shows. You're not going to get it. Because if you don't, you would either know or...
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to know, actually. I don't know any of the WWF
and
people.
I would be willing to bet, you're not gonna, but you should go watch this match. The only problem is I watched it on YouTube before I watched the rest of SmackDown.
Okay.
And there's so many ads on their thing.
I've been hearing that a lot lately.
I mean, I get it. They're making $1 million off of it. Good for them, whatever. It was a TLC match between the Street Profits.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm blanking on the other team.
DIY.
I knew DIY.
And
oh, my God.
MGMT. Not MGMT.
Yeah.
Motor City Machine Guns.
MGMT.
Yeah, they were like, control yourself.
I couldn't think. I don't know any of the songs.
Knees for it.
I was going to sing Pumped Up Kicks, but that's not them.
No, that's Foster the People.
Everybody knows that.
FTP.
They were not in the match. It was DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, and Street Profits who retained their title. It was awesome. It was a TLC match. It was exactly what you wanted.
I heard that was a really good match.
It was what
Meltzer liked it.
And I know part of the...
I think Triple H was ranting and raving about it for days.
The narrative or whatever that they controlled was that these guys were all mad and pissed off that they weren't on WrestleMania, so they were coming to prove that they should have been.
That's cool, yeah.
And I'm almost... I think it would have still got the recognition it should have. But it's almost nicer that it got its own... For them, I think they should have been on WrestleMania.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
They should have been on WrestleMania.
Sure.
I'm not arguing that.
But you're saying they got their own spotlight that they wouldn't have had.
You got to do that on SmackDown, and that was... And everybody says that should have been on WrestleMania. So is that as good as being on WrestleMania?
Right. You got more.
No.
You got buzz. Like people saying that you should have been on there is better than if you were just another match on this this WrestMania.
Street Profits.
Loved.
I'm a DIY guy. I'm sure you are.
Of course.
Too.
I was
Especially Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny. I say.
That's what you call him?
Yeah.
That's a good thing to call him. You see Tommaso Ciampa shaved his beard?
Yeah, because of
he ripped his chin open or something. He fell or passed out.
I haven't seen what he looks like, but I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like
you know what he looks like normally?
Yeah, I feel like
it's like that, but so picture from his nose up and then copy it and paste it and flip it.
I feel like he would look like Christopher Daniels.
No. No. Not as good looking as Christopher. Christopher Daniels is a smooth operator.
He is a stud.
Ciampa looks different.
When I'm watching him, I'm chomping at the bit.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was sweet. Watch it if you get the chance.
I heard it was good.
Or don't. But that would be my match of the week. As soon as I watched that.
Both tag team matches.
Exactly. I watched that last week and I thought nothing's beat this. And nothing did. So ha. Ha 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 ha. DIY. I wish the Motor City Machine Guns would have got up to be on WrestleMania, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, Johnny and the Street Profits, they really do all deserve it. It's been really good tag team.
But seeing them come to WWE finally and stuff like that, you know, they might not even be alive next year. They're so old. God's sakes.
That would be bad. I hope that doesn't happen. What's that? 5.
That's what they do. Don't they point to
minutes.
Don't they point to their hand for Michigan or whatever?
Is that what it means? Mm-hmm. I didn't know what that meant. Oh,
guess-
because it's like a mitten.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lame. I don't like it anymore.
So they point to where they are on there. Yeah, that's what they do.
Oh, we're in
Yeah, I
Ann
think
Arbor.
you just probably because you're a sports guy, you probably just don't like Michigan.
We're in Ann Arbor.
Is that what it is?
We're in Battle Creek.
Uh-huh.
We're in Detroit.
Yeah.
We're in Michigan City, I'm assuming.
There's got to be.
No, that is a sports thing, especially in Cleveland, the city we're in, but Columbus and Ohio, that Ohio and Michigan don't like each other, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I don't watch sports, so I could care less.
It's a college football, or mostly college football thing.
I think they're bluer state than we are, so there's that.
Their colors are
Blue and
maize.
ours has
Is
red.
maize gold, or is maize blue? Maize and gold.
Oh,
We're
red and
It's
scarlet and
scarlet and gray,
yeah,
which I always thought it was silver, but whatever.
it is. They're lying, dude.
Colors, man.
They're probably the people who came up with those colors, the same guys who came up with birds.
I don't like that. I don't like that in one bit.
Which do you really not have a room for cream?
I have a room for cream.
What is it?
Hot takes. They're not hot.
No.
No, and I'm talking to all of you out there. All of you people like us that, what are we? Content creators?
Takes.
Or
Takes.
hot takes are fake. I think a lot of them aren't hot.
Yeah.
It's not like that crazy of an opinion most of the time. I think most of them that are, if somebody was to say that TLC match that I picked for match of the week wasn't good, my hot take is that match wasn't really that good. You're just looking for interaction.
Yeah.
You're farming for
farming content.
Yeah.
I see people do that all the
So
time when they're like, my hot take is
You know, I'm gonna say
hot take.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say what everybody's thinking, but nobody's saying.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not true.
yeah.
Because there's so many people. If you didn't like something that most people like, that's not a hot take.
Yeah.
Or if you,
There's other things that are like this too. Like
Yeah.
when people say my toxic trait, like people, my toxic trait is that if you wrong me, I tell it like it is, and you're like,
that's not bad.
no, your toxic
that's a
trait.
good thing.
Your toxic trait is that you're abusive.
Your toxic trait is that you think that's
Yeah.
makes you special.
Right.
That's like a main character
Or like
syndrome thing.
for sure. Or
But we have a
like
podcast, so who are we to talk?
That's true, but we don't sniff our own butts.
Oh, I would if I could though.
I do.
Good for you. But yeah, hot takes. I'm sick of.
Yeah, I can agree with that, man.
Maybe there's a few
you know
more
what,
floating out
You
there.
know what else is like those? People say this is my guilty pleasure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like it.
You know, my guilty pleasure. I just love Maroon 5.
Yeah, yeah.
Love Maroon 5.
Right, right. The only time it should be like a guilty pleasure is if you're like, my guilty pleasure is that I like kidnapping folks and taking them back to my house and mutilating
Well,
them.
that's like the.
That's a guilty pleasure.
You ever see Norm? You know, on
Yeah.
comedians in cars getting coffee.
Oh, no,
with
no.
Jerry Seinfeld.
No, I didn't.
And something came up about. I think Norm brings it up probably because of how funny he is. He brings up about Bill Cosby. I don't know how long ago this was filmed, but it was after Bill Cosby got in trouble for drugging the women and raping and whatever he did or didn't do allegedly. I don't know. Is he in jail? Out of jail? I don't know.
I mean, he did.
Anyway,
he
Bill
did.
Cosby did stuff that he shouldn't have done. And Norm's talking to Jerry Seinfeld about it, and he talks about, I think, Patton Oswalt.
Oh, did he say
about
that
it.
He doesn't
And
like
he
he's a
said-
hypocrite?
He said the worst
he
part
says that
of,
a lot.
Okay, it's probably on a
He
couple
tells that
different
story
things.
a
I
lot,
just
yeah,
happened
yeah.
to see it on there. He said, yeah, the worst part of the whole Bill Cosby thing is the hypocrisy
Yeah.
of it all. And Norm he politely disagrees, and his hot take is that he thinks the worst part of it was the raping. And he goes into the, and then he does the whole Norm thing where he
Yeah.
breaks it down and
No,
makes it
Norm's
even
great.
funny. Where he's
The
like,
way he talks is.
most rapists tend to be hypocrites.
Have you heard about his autobiography?
I'm sure I read it.
So he has an autobiography. I had the audio versions, and he reads it, so that makes it better.
That's cool.
So there's this chapter because like it's not real. Like like he talks about stuff that's obviously didn't happen.
It's like Weird Al's movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, but it's funny. And then there's a part where he's like,
Weird Al's movie was funny.
there's this whole chapter where he's his like uncle is being really weird towards him and stuff like that, and he has like a house in the woods or something like that, and then he like lures him into this shed, and then that's how the chapter ends. Like he goes into his uncle's shed, and then the next chapter is like so when you're like listening to the audiobook, he's like chapter 12, and then he reads the chapter. I don't remember chapter 13. So like that's hilarious.
It was all just well, I know I never got to see him in person, but a friend of mine got to see him here, and he said he'd have a cigarette in his mouth on stage. And I think you're allowed to smoke when you perform.
Seems that way.
I don't know, but his whole deal was he would have the cigarette. He comes out, he starts doing his routine. Then he pulls out a cigarette and he holds it in his hand for a little bit. And he keeps doing his routine. Then he puts it in his mouth, and he keeps doing his routine. And everybody's just like, "Is he gonna light this fucking cigarette?" Or
That's
what?
funny.
Is this okay? And then he would, light the lighter, and then like put it up, and then put it down and keep going on the routine. And I don't think he ever ended up lighting it, but that was just part of
the
thing he would do.
He's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time.
He's the GOAT, baby, greatest of all time. I'm sticking with it now.
My room for creamers. What was it? Oh, tonight at midnight, the Thunderbolts movie comes out. Okay,
does it really? It's Thunderbolts
asterisk. No, I think that it's called that with the asterisk because they're going to have a different team name at the end of the movie, and I think that team name is the West Coast Avengers.
Really?
This is the reason, though. Like to me, and I think you would agree, and probably anybody would agree, the West Coast Avengers kind of made up a bunch of jabrones.
Hot take. Sorry.
My toxic trait is that I think the West Coast Avengers are made up of a bunch of jabrones. So this team is basically made up of some jabronis and the Winter Soldier.
It's a Suicide Squad.
Right? Yeah. It's like, there's villains in there. Yeah, they're all So I think they're going to be the West Coast Avengers. So this is my prediction. So next week, Creamers, when I've seen the movie.
Are you going to go see it?
Yeah.
You plan on it, or you have tickets?
I'm planning on it, but I've heard
just asking.
I don't think they sold. I was texting my buddy earlier, and he was like, "Dad, they don't. There's plenty of tickets available. No one's going to see this movie."
Don't worry, it's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to see Sinners.
I would rather see Sinners. I really want to see that movie, especially in theaters.
You will.
That's your hot take.
I believe in you. Hot take of the week. Maybe.
Hi, Joe.
Take. Hold on. Take.
Movies.
Well, that's all the time we've got for tonight, Creamers.
I thought that was the thing.
We love you.
And we wish you
the best.
I forgot to tell you, my room for cream last week was physical media.
Mm-hmm.
And our internet was out all fucking week, so I had to use a lot of physical media because I couldn't watch anything.
I'm so excited about being here, but do you know what I like most about being here? Is when I'm strapped in the seat of that race car and I'm flying down that straightaway and they drop that green flag, I pedal to the metal. Just like when I come to the World Wrestling Federation, I'm going to walk down that aisle, and when I get in the ring and when they ring that bell, I'm going to be wide open, pedal to the metal.